Exodus 10. God had already sent 7 plagues on the Egyptians. Moses had another warning for Pharaoh. If you refuse to let the God's people go, he will bring a plague of locusts on the land, something your parents and ancestors have never seen. Pharaoh's officials advised him to let God's people go. But when Pharaoh found out that all the Hebrew slaves would be leaving, he only gave permission for the men to go and worship God. Then he ordered Moses and Aaron to get out of his presence. So Moses raised his staff over Egypt. An east wind blew all night, bringing in a swarm of locusts. They covered the ground, making it look black, and ate everything growing in the fields until nothing green remained on plant or tree. I have sinned against God, Pharaoh told Moses. Forgive me once more and pray to God to take this deadly plague away. When Moses left Pharaoh and prayed, the wind changed direction and blew from the west, carrying the locusts into the Red Sea. Pharaoh became stubborn again, broke his promise, and refused to let God's people go and worship. Moses stretched out his hands, and total darkness came over the land for 3 days. Only in Goshen, where the Hebrew slaves lived, was there light. The Egyptians could not see anyone else or move about. Pharaoh summoned Moses. Go and worship God. Take your women and children as well, but you must leave your animals behind. Our animals must travel with us, insisted Moses. Some are needed to offer sacrifices to God. Get out of my sight, ordered Pharaoh. Don't ever appear before me again. If you do, you will die. Just as you say, replied Moses. I won't appear before you again. But God has one more plague to send. About midnight, the firstborn son of every family and animal will die, and there will be weeping and wailing everywhere, except among God's people. Moses was red with anger. Then your officials will come and bow before me and tell us to leave. After that, I shall leave. Moses then turned and walked out of the palace. The Lord then told Moses to tell his people that on the 10th day of the month, every man who was head of a family was to sacrifice a lamb. Those who couldn't afford a lamb should join with a family that had one. God's people obeyed, and each family sacrificed a lamb. God then told them to put some of the blood of the slain lamb into a basin. Then, using a bunch of hyssop dipped in the blood, they should smear the top and sides of the doorframe of the house, where they were going to eat the meat. God explained that that night he was going to pass through the land to bring judgment. But if he saw blood on the doorposts of a house, he would pass over, and those inside would be spared. So the Hebrews did as God instructed. That evening, God's people got dressed ready to leave Egypt and sat down for a meal they would later call the Passover, for God would pass over them. Moses explained that the Passover meal was to be celebrated every year, and when children asked what it meant, they were to explain its meaning and tell how God had spared those homes covered by the blood of the Lamb and set his people free. At midnight, the Lord passed over the land, and the firstborn son of Pharaoh and every Egyptian family was found dead. The firstborn of every animal was slain too. There was weeping and wailing in every house except those houses with blood on the doorposts. That night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Leave my people and go and worship the Lord God. Take your families and animals with you. Please bless me." God's people packed their belongings. The Egyptians, afraid that they might all die, gave them gifts of silver and gold. "Hurry and leave," they urged. God's people rushed off so quickly they did not have time to add yeast to the dough they had made for bread. They had been slaves for 430 years and now they were free, just as God had promised.